What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the X. Today is going to be oil change day. I am a little bit past overdue on my hours for an oil change. Not by much, but I might be eating the words that I say later in the video. But I want to show you guys how I do my oil changes and what I use. And maybe you guys will understand why I do the things on my bike the way I do. So let's get started. All right, first things first. My hours on this bike right now, they're a little excessive. I usually write my stuff down and track my hours on paper because I do not have an hour meter on this thing yet. If you ever watch my videos and see me playing with my timer, this is what I'm doing is just starting this when I take off, and then when I'm done with my full ride, I'll jot this down of how many hours I rode. And sometimes with my KTM boys, shout out to the KTM boys, they have hour meters on their bikes. So what I do is I take their hours right before we take off, and then right when we finish, and then I just text myself, or they text me, or I text them how much hours you rode today, and then I just jot this stuff down. So if you see, here's ride 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I went a little bit excessive. I usually do 4 rides and then I change my oil, or 6 hours. So as you can tell, I went 5 rides. This is what I meant by I was going to eat my words. I did 5 rides, and I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.9, so, or 7.9 hours so far on this. And I usually change it at the 6-hour mark. So I'm almost 2 hours over due on the oil change. So this is why I'm making this video, because I figured why not do this one next and show you guys what I use on the bike and how I jot this stuff down, because like I said, I don't have an hour meter yet. So I'm taking the KTM guys' hours or doing my own and jotting this stuff down. So this is how I keep track of my stuff, okay? For now, for the time being. But eventually when I do the top end or full rebuild, I am gonna put an hour meter on this bike. But there's that. And then let me show you guys what I've been using is this Rotella T4 for my tranny, and I've been using it for a while now. I've never had a problem yet with it. I use it on my 4-strokes as well. I've had my previous bike was an 07, and I've been using that. And actually, let me show you guys. I go to Sam's Club and get the pack. This is going to be a bonus footage on my suspension once I do it. Tell you guys about this. But anyways, there's the oil. And it's lasted me a while. I think I paid like $90 or something for that whole case. So I've been running this for a long time now, and I've never had a problem. So, and then what I do is I've saved this Kawasaki bottle. I don't have a Kawi, or actually, yes, I do. I have a 2-stroke still. I saved this old bottle, because it has a tip end on it, and I chopped it off. And I use this now to fill the engine with, or the transmission with. And I use this now instead of filling this, because it is kind of awkward to fill with this guy. What I do with this guy now is I drain it. I use this as a drain pan, and I try to make sure that, let me show you. On our cases, it says 750 cc's. I try to make sure that I get out the same amount that I put in, so that way I know if my seals are blown or if I'm eating oil out of this thing. So that is how I do mine. But for the sake of this video, I am gonna pour this in here and then show you guys how clear it looks. And then off camera, I'm just gonna pour it in here like I usually do. And then when I'm done, I'll show you guys how dirty the oil is from the 7.9 hours it has, and then try to do a comparison on screen of what the oil looks like. So let me get this skid plate off and get started. as you can see how dirty this skid plate is. I usually like to take it off instead of trying to make a hole in this guy. Just take it off and just clean this area and clean underneath really good. So at the end of the video, I'll just show you guys me cleaning it. So there's that. Like I said, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna toss it in here and I'm gonna do a comparison of a side-by-side. And like I said, we use 750 cc's on this bike. Right around there. And I want to do a side-by-side video of the fresh oil versus the dirty oil. Okay, now I'm going to pour it in here. Like I said, for the sake of this video, I just wanted to do that. And I want to show you guys how I actually fill this. So let me pour this in here and then we'll go down to the bottom and drain the oil. Now we're gonna drain the sucker with this guy, like I said. And I do have a magnetic plug on this guy. So I do get a couple of metal flakes, probably from clutch plates or something. Wait, see that for 7.9 hours, that does not look bad. But in the jar, it does look bad. You guys could watch that drain. Actually, I'll turn this around. You guys can read that there. And this is what I mean by the magnet. So I'm just gonna clean that off with some brake clean while you guys watch that drain. Okay, that's almost done draining, and as you can see, it's almost to 800 cc's, so I might have put a little bit extra in the motor, which is not bad, but not too much. You know, it's just this little bit right there. And I just finished cleaning the magnetic drain plug. I do use these washers 3 to 4 times, and then I replace them. So this one's still fresh. This will be the second time, but I recommend you guys switch these out. I'm gonna plug this up while it's dribbling, and this is the reason why I like taking this skid plate off, is because I like to, you see the oil just got in my finger because it's still trying to drain a little bit, but I like to put this on and then just clean this area wherever the oil is like contaminated around the cases, just like that. Oops, I dropped that guy. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna button this up. And I don't ever torque this, I just do it by feel. That feels good. And let me show you guys this oil. You guys can see it's a little darker, and like I said, I did kind of get right at the 800 cc's, not by much. But the whole sole purpose of this is to just verify for myself that I'm not blowing this oil through the crank seals and blowing it out here and fouling plugs. So I've been doing this for a long time now, just like this, and I'm okay with the way of doing it like this. I mean, you can have, for example, a drain one and then a fill one. But like I said, I use a pour bottle instead of this stuff. So let me show you guys pouring it in now and we'll finish it up. Now she's ready to fill. So as you can see, it's right around the 750 mark. So now I'm gonna pull this cap off. And this doesn't have a vent. This bottle doesn't have a vent on it. So what I do is just squeeze it. So I just go like this, pour it in there, give it a few squeezes. You can hear it gurgling. Sorry about that. My phone was about to die. But all I do is just squeeze it. You guys can see I'm right at the end. You can sometimes leave this like this. Let me see if I can get it. But just leave it there like that and let it drain itself in there. I mean, there's got to be nothing in there for that to work. You'll notice, but if you can see, it's still gurgling itself. But I'm getting every last drop of that oil. So in the meantime, I usually do something else, walk around, maybe clean this, and then come back, and then I'll know that that actually fully drained. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me just squeeze that out. And then just clean this drain plug if you got like dirt or something on it, or the fill plug, I mean. Just clean it a little bit. If there's dirt around there, try to wipe it away, not into the hole. And then plug that up. And then the last thing we gotta do now is write down today's date of when I changed the oil and then start over on my hours. As you can see, I went like this and kind of scribbled that off. So I'll start a new one and start my next few rides on the next one. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. This is what I wasn't trying to show, but I'm gonna drain the oil while you guys watch. And this is gonna be behind the scene of how that's fully draining in there. Alright, so here's the skid plate after I hand washed it. Give you a better lighting. As you can tell, look at this beating it's taken already. I'm glad I bought this. She's tore up. Definitely would recommend this, especially with the linkage guards.